From Global Research here, 9/11 conspiracy theorists categorized as terrorists. FBI calls half the population that has doubts about 9/11. I think it's about 45 or 50% of the population who are, not very sure about the official story. They have doubts at the very minimum. The FBI is instructing local police departments and communities against terrorism to consider anyone who harbors conspiracy theories about 9/11 to be a potential terrorist. In circular released to local police departments. The memo thus adds 9/11 official story skeptics to the growing list of targets described by federal law enforcement to be security threats, such as those who express libertarian philosophies, Second Amendment oriented views, interest in self-sufficiency, fears of Big Brother or government, and declarations of constitutional rights and civil liberties. I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but you can't even make this stuff up. It's so fucked up. It's so fucking crazy. They're basically telling you, if you like the Constitution and civil liberties, if you're afraid of Big Brother or huge government, if you like the right to bear arms and you try to defend that right, or you're a libertarian and like people like Ron Paul, you're a terrorist. Or at the very least, you're a potential terrorist. And that you should be watched. This is Orwellian. Outright Orwellian. A national poll shows that 48% of Americans either have some doubts about the official account of 9/11 or do not believe it at all. The FBI circular entitled Potential Indicators of Terrorist Activities Related to Sleepers. Let me just highlight that particular phrase there. Potential indicators of terrorist activities related to sleepers. Says that people who should be considered suspicious of possible involvement in terrorist activity include those who hold the attitude described as conspiracy theories by Westerners. The circular continues, e.g., the CIA arranged for 9/11 to legitimize the invasion of foreign lands. Hey, they're not hiding what they're trying to do, because in some ways they can't, because they're trying to win the battle. The battle right now is for really the middle class, the sheeple, the people who have the numbers, if they could get organized, the strength to change the government, to have some sort of revolution, right? These are the people that are on the fence, and they're trying at one time to recruit them, in order to target these people, and that's why they're vilifying them through the corporate media on a daily basis and using conspiracy theory as a derogatory term. One of the most common sayings on the Free Radio Revolution podcast, right? They have created, or at least perfectly managed to gain control of these two words. And it's getting desperate now, because if 48% of people don't believe what you're saying, if half the people out there don't believe it, how long do you think it's going to take for people to click on Building 7 videos, right? Especially when you have billboards up in places like New York City and Toronto telling people, did you know that a third building fell on 9/11? There's a concentrated attack here, and it reeks of desperation. It's so transparent. It's so belligerent at the same time, and yet you know, it's not going to work. It's not going to work because more people are waking up every single day. That wasn't that figure last year. It might have been 38%. A few years ago, it might have been 12%, right? After 9/11, it was probably like 4 or 5%, right? Because they had people so bloody scared to say anything. They're terrified of this figure. It's scaring the bejesus out of them. They're trying to stop the flow of information. This is what Dianne Feinstein's bill, Media Shield bill, it's all connected. All these things are connected. They're connected to the false flags. They know that the false flags can only be so successful, no matter how much they train for them, no matter how much they prepare, no matter FEMA drills and color drills and all these things that you can look up on their own pages where they talk explicitly in 2008 and 2010. I actually showed this in a video, how the Boston bombing, quote, from memory, would be the perfect place to carry out one of these events. What events, you ask? Well, basically FEMA drills or 7/7s or 9/11s, right? The drill is the flag, right? They drill all the time, but when they do their drills like the Navy Yards, or they do their drills like the recently, a lot of people are saying that the Kenya Mall was a false flag. People had prior knowledge. People were told not to go. A lot of photographs looked, very fishy. Was the Kenya hoax or false flag coordinated with the Navy Yard shooting? Was it done so that, I think it was 2 or 3 days after, that you could quickly change everyone's focus? Don't look at the false flag that we just created and all the bullshit, no tears, smiling witnesses who are terrible actors and never worked in the buildings that they said they worked in. Never mind that. Here you go. Here's the latest one, right? Here you go. I didn't cover the Kenya Mall hoax because I just didn't have time. It's too much, As I said, it's too much. All this stuff going on. Yes, I'm worried about why they're doing so many of them, and I think it's going to ultimately sink them. This is my hope. I mean, there's always my hope with Sandy Hook to expose it completely so that we could overthrow the corporate media, starting with, right, to show that nobody can trust them and, their game is over, and then that we could overthrow the shadow government, ultimately, right, by proving that they're carrying out these things, or at least get it to the point where everyone was talking about it and they had nowhere to hide. We haven't got it there yet. We have to keep working, passing this information around, sharing what we have, looking out for each other, because it's dangerous, right? I mean, it's dangerous now, right? They're worried about people like myself. They're worried about there's more and more of us every day. All of the people that listen to this show would fall under that. You'll all get flagged right away just for up Alex Jones or listen to Free Radio Revolution or any of the alternative media. It's instant. So you can't be afraid. You have to be strong. You have to believe that if you are on the side of the righteous, that eventually the truth will emerge and the FBI will be exposed, the CIA will be exposed, 9/11 will be exposed. It will be proven that the Building 7, at the very minimum, was brought down by explosives. As many others have shown, the other two buildings could only have come down with explosives as well. If we can just get a real investigation happening, that's the dream, right? And to break this paradigm, this complete imaginary world that most people are living in.